Howdy, folks. David Singer, Judge 99 Sports Cards, here with a video about the National. I just got back from the National a few days ago, and I want to post a video following the video that I posted on my early show pickups. So we'll talk about pickups at the National that I had. We're also going to talk about some do's and don'ts about attending, what I learned at my first National. I'm by no means an expert. There are guys out there that have been to 40 Nationals that can tell you a lot more. This was my first, but I did learn a lot that I wanted to share as far as things that I'm going to do again and things that I'm going to make sure that I do that I didn't do this year. First thing, I wanted to pictures from the National that I have. There were... It was a great week. There was a lot going on, as you can see. If I can figure out how to scroll this, that there was a lot going on. A lot of people, a lot of crowds. Everybody on their phone, but a ton of people at the National. So I'm going to go through my pickups. I've shown some of these. Got Bo Jackson to sign this rookie card of his. This was my card. Last purchase at the show was a 57 Mantle. I'm real happy to have that. I did trade for a 56 Mantle, PSA 2. A 55 Jackie Robinson, that's a SGC 4. I got a Judge rookie overpaid. This was one of my mistakes at the National. I liked the card. I just probably overpaid for it. This one I was really happy to get for what I got it for, this Gretzky rookie card. It's PSA. I got a bunch of Jordans in a lot for $5 a piece. A little high, but some of them are worth more than that. Picked up this Nolan card. I just wanted one of these in my collection, the first solo Nolan Ryan card. Upgraded this one. I have a 59 collection of Hall of Famers, and my Frank Robinson was a little poor, so I picked up this one. I've already listed the other one on eBay. The Jeter SB foil that I've been chasing, a little lower grade than I wanted, but I can upgrade this one next year. A Topps Finest Jordan, just kind of for show, and some more Jordan cards as you see. And then the 58 Mantle, beautiful SGC2 version, has a little wax stain on the back that caused a low grade. Bruce Matthews autograph, one of my guys from back in the day. Got him to autograph a couple of his rookie cards. And that's it for the National pickups. Also got this poster signed, Andre Johnson, from a moment when he beat the crap out of Cortland Finnegan on the field. I attended that game. I've always loved this picture and got him to sign it this year. So I had a great time at the National, but let's go over some do's and don'ts. First do that I did is make a list of cards that you want before you show up at the National. Think about it for a month or two before at least, and start working on a list. These are the cards I have to have. These are the cards that I'd like to have. And then these are the cards that maybe I will get if I see them. Because let me tell you something, folks. There's everything is there. I can't imagine you, unless you have something really obscure that you're chasing, not being able to find cards that you're looking for at the National with over 1,000 dealers there. So you're going to find it. The question is, are you going to be disciplined enough to buy it right? And are you going to really, at the end of the day, come home with what you want to come home with? Because you can just start buying cards. I mean, there are so many cards out there that I liked that I would like to have bought that I didn't, because I was disciplined enough to stay on my list until that list was completed. And then at the end of the show, if you have some money left over, well, then you can go buy whatever you want. I really never ran out of things that I had kind of on the list. So that's what I came home with, and I'm happy at the end of the day. The other thing is you have to budget. I want these 4 cards, 5 cards, whatever, and this is what I'm willing to spend on them, and this is my budget for the entire week. Now, what I did, and maybe people are more disciplined than I am, I left money in the hotel every day. I locked it up in a safe, and I only brought a certain amount of money to the show floor with me every day. And I just made sure that I was not going to find something I really liked and then spend all my money on it and not have money for the other cards that I wanted. So I limited myself, and I had money the whole week. I did not have a time where I didn't think I could buy a good card because I didn't have enough money on me, or money that I could access that was locked up that I wouldn't spend in the first day or two. So that was the first thing I did that I think was a really good idea. Have a list of what you want, have a budget for those cards, and then have an overall budget for the week, and do something to discipline yourself not to blow your budget on day one. Second thing I would have is the All Access. This cost me $329, I want to say. I purchased it November or December of last year. It's a must. I would literally not go to the show if I didn't have one of those passes. Believe it or not, those passes were doing 4 and 5x on Facebook the week before the show. I literally could have sold my pass for $1,500 to $2,000 that I paid $300 for. Of course, I didn't do it because I needed the pass. But All Access pass, hugely important. Forget about the autographs you get free, because that's really nothing. The autographs that they're going to give you for free are not ones you're going to chase. But if you're going to get autographs, you have to have that pass to kind of skip the line on the autographs, which, let me tell you something, that's the difference between waiting 15 minutes for an auto and waiting an hour for an auto. So in my mind, it's worth every penny. The other thing is you get into the show early before the crowd really hits the floor, and that's huge in some spots, especially on that second floor where the aisles were super tight. If you didn't go up there in your All Access hour, it was impossible to really see anything at that part of the show. So the All Access pass for autos, for getting into the show early, for just access to different spaces, 100% required in my opinion. Third thing is, if you're an old guy like me and distance walking is important, stay at the Hilton, because the Hilton is the shortest walk to the convention from the Stevens Hall to the group of hotels. It's the first one you hit to on the Sky Bridge. You never have to go outside to get in and out of the Hilton quickly. Other hotels are further. I mean, I don't know anything about the other hotels. There's certainly some flaws about the Hilton. It was okay, not great in certain areas, but very good, comfortable. And to me, the most important thing, it was the shortest walk to the convention. So I wanted to go back and forth several times a day. I didn't want to have to stay there and never go back to the hotel until I was done for the day, and it was highly convenient for that. So if you're looking for the shortest walk, the Hilton Rosemont, you're going to pay big money for it. I think I paid, it was $450 before all the taxes, so I wound up being over $500 a night to stay there. But if you're going to do that, if you're looking to save money, unless you're young and athletic and don't mind walking far distances, that's important. So that's my tip number 3. Tip number 4 is one that a dealer gave me before the last day of the show that I wish I had on day one, because it was one of the big mistakes that I did make. Is this place is so huge. There are so many rooms, so many dealers, that you're going to find cards that you're not ready to pull the trigger on when you first see them, but you, at some point later in the show, decide you might want them, and I couldn't find them. I had a hard time finding the same cards or the same dealers that I had seen earlier in the show. Little trick a dealer gets: if you find a card that you may be interested in, take a picture of the dealer, location, booth number, whatever that will clue you where that card is, and then just keep doing that as the show progresses, and basically you'll have a little Easter egg hunt later on. Oh, I wanted to find this card that I liked. Let me go see at the picture. Here it is. And at least you'll have some way of tracking it, because there were cards I saw once that I wanted to buy later in the show and couldn't find. So that's a huge thing. Make sure you document that as you go early in the show. Take some photos to allow you to go back. So you don't always want to pull the trigger on a card the first time you see it because you don't know what else is out there. For example, I'm looking for a 58 mantle. I want to see 5 or 6 of them, see what the prices are, see what the options are before I pull the trigger. I think when you're at the National, it's one of the advantages of being there because there's 50 of everything you want. There was probably more than 4 or 5 I could look at. I probably could have looked at 50, just one particular card like that. So take your time buying, but then be able to find the ones that you liked later on, because if you didn't pull the trigger when you first saw it, you may never see it again if you don't have any way to get back there. Next tip, pay a little bit of attention to the redemptions. I paid money for that VIP pass, and I paid no attention to any of the redemptions. I'm not saying I'm that upset about it, but for example, I got redemption from Arena Club. Got 2 of these actually. So that's pretty cool. They're giving me a free One Touch, but they were also willing to give me a free Arena Club pack, and I never got it. So attention to the redemptions. There might be some stuff in there, some free stuff. That's usually not my thing. That's kind of my wife's thing. If I bring her to a show, that's what she'll do, is get all the redemptions, free stuff. But pay a little attention to it because there's some pretty cool stuff there that I probably didn't take advantage of that I should have. Next thing, be prepared for some grading drop-offs. I didn't want to spend the money to grade my cards at the show price, but it was a convenient place to be able to drop off submissions at all the grading companies. PSA, SGC, Beckett, they were all there. You could have made drop-offs. I mean, I sent a order into Beckett yesterday, 3 days after I got back for the show, and these were the autos that I had obtained. And I'll show you the autos I got. I got the Bo Jackson on-card auto. I got the Andre Johnson. I got, let's see, another one I got, if it's here, the Bruce Matthews. And then I also got a Mariano Rivera that for some reason I'm not pulling up. It's probably here. Can't find it right now, folks, but I got a Mariano Rivera. I sent those to Beckett yesterday via mail. Had I been ready and had the other autos that I wanted graded too with me, I could have just dropped them off at Beckett, saved myself the shipping. They'd basically walk through the submission process, which with Beckett, I'm having problems using Beckett website. The only way I could do it was on my phone, and it was still not seamless there. If anybody else is having a problem with the Beckett website, or I've had problems with the Beckett website, please put something in the comments about that. I'd like to know other people if they're having the same experience I have submitting on Beckett being so difficult. But anyway, that's one of the things. Be prepared for that because it's an opportunity to save yourself some money. And if you have the All Access Pass, this is a great thing about getting to those grading companies. You can get to them during the All Access hour. You're not competing against the general public. You're not going to wait in line an hour to submit something to PSA. You're going to be able to get right in the front of the line and not have it take too long for you to get things submitted if you want to, or just like I was trying to do, drop off for grading down the road, and then they would mail it back to me. But you could do that during the All Access period without waiting in line. The last day of the show, I was trying to get out of there. I bought a mantle card in the morning, and I had that and another one that I wanted graded. I walked over to SGC. It took me 5 or 10 minutes. I had it submitted, dropped off with them, and was able to leave the show plenty early to get back on the road, because I drove from Houston to Chicago to go to the show, and it was actually turned out well as far as I thought. As far as the driving goes, wasn't a bad drive. 2 days to get there, not a big deal. Scout dealers that are willing to make trade deals. I found that everybody was buying. Okay, so if you're going there to sell cards for cash, you can do it. Now, they're not going to pay you what their full comps on them. They're going to pay you. They're going to try to pay you 70%. Maybe you could bargain up to 85%. I didn't try to sell cards because I wasn't trying to get cash for the cards that I brought. I was just trying to use them to trade up to other cards. And there was a little reluctance to trade up, especially if you're trying to trade up into liquid cards. Like you saw a couple Mantles, Jackie Robinson. Those are liquid cards. the Gretzky, that the dealers knew they were going to sell or could sell and wanted cash for them. Some of them would not trade; they just wanted cash, regardless of what you were trading. I mean, I was trying to trade a PSA 10 Jordan that had a very liquid card for $500 value, and it took me 4 or 5 dealers to find the one that would actually put that into a deal for a Gretzky rookie and not have me come up with all the cash for that card. So scout some of those dealers that are wanting to trade with you, because I finally did on Saturday find a dealer that was willing to trade for 2 big cards, the 55 Jackie Robinson and the 56 Mantle, for my cards. And I traded him about 39, 40 cards for those 2 and a little bit of cash. So it worked out well. I finally found that dealer, and I know there are some there that are looking for cards and they're willing to trade you cards for them and give you a fair value on that deal. So there are people there. I wish I would have scouted that out a little bit earlier in the show and not waited till Saturday, because I really didn't sell all. I sold that one Jordan card, or traded that one Jordan card. That was the only trade deal I made until Saturday. I found a guy and a dealer that I traded 39 cards with to get those 2 cards I was looking for. So scout out a little bit earlier for those kind of dealers, because most of the dealers are trying to buy at low value your cards so they can either flip them or sell them to repackers, whatever they do with them. Check your credentials when you pick them up, because I got the wrong credentials. I was an all-access VIP. I got regular VIP credentials. The difference was the parking pass, and it made it so I couldn't use the parking pass, because when I tried to move my car, I didn't have it. So I wound up parking in the Hilton for the week. Next year I'll probably do the same thing, because I just found that a lot easier, that the parking, getting in and out of the Stevens parking garage, first of all, it was no closer than it was actually further away than the Hilton parking. So it didn't save you any walk to go there. And it was just hard to get in and out of that parking garage every day, where the Hilton was pretty easy to get in and out of. So next year I'll probably pay for the parking pass, because I want the all access, and I'll probably sell it because I just want to park at the Hilton. But check your credentials so they get the right ones. I didn't get it. It kind of screwed me up a little bit. But look in your bag before you go back to the hotel, because I had to wind up going back, getting another pass, and then bringing them back some stuff that I had gotten that I shouldn't have gotten in my other pass. All right, so those are the things that I would do if you're going to the National. I got most of it right. I didn't get all of it right. Here's some don'ts. Don't go crazy day one. I saw a lot of people spending all their money on day one, and then you're looking at an ATM or Venmo or something to try to buy cards the rest of the week. I didn't want to get in that position, which is why I think it's a good idea what I did as far as leaving cards leaving money in your hotel room safe every day and not bringing all your money on the show floor. That's just me. It's a way to self-discipline. I think next year I'm going to get there Tuesday instead of Wednesday. I could have gotten there Tuesday this year, but I didn't have the Hilton booked for Tuesday. So when I tried to book it, they wanted $700 for the extra night. I didn't want to do that, so I stayed in Joliet, about an hour away on Tuesday night. Next year, I think I'm just going to get there Tuesday, even though the show doesn't start till Wednesday. You get there late in the day, you get checked into your hotel, and you get a good start for Tuesday being prepared for the show. I was a little scattered on Tuesday, running around trying to get checked in, trying to get my room, trying to get my stuff organized, and then try to get to the show as well before it ended for the day. So I think if you're going to go for the week, arriving Tuesday makes sense. I missed all the trade nights. I'm not going to do that next year, so don't do that. For me, again, I was kind of tired by the end of every day. So after dinner, I really didn't have a lot of desire to go back and do a bunch of walking around. So I really didn't do that. So I missed the trade nights. Next year, I'm going to make a point of making some time for that, or arranging that a little better. So don't do that. Don't miss the trade nights. I think that's a big part of the show. And I didn't get to experience that this year. I'll make sure that I don't miss it next year. I had a plan not to bring my cash with me, because I was driving up from Houston to Chicago. I said, I'll be smart. I won't bring a pile of cash with me and drive for 2 days where don't know where I'm going to be, what hotels I'm staying at, all that kind of stuff. I'll just get my cash Since they have Wells Fargo in Chicago, I'll just get it when I get to Chicago. The problem is you better find yourself a location that's truly on your route and not in downtown Chicago. I wound up, for some reason, I Google Maps a Wells Fargo that I thought was on my way to the convention center from where I stayed the night before, but it really turned out not to be, and it was right in downtown Chicago, and there was no parking, and it was hard to find the location, and the traffic was gridlock because I was right there at rush hour around 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was a nightmare. It took me 2.5 hours to 3 hours. I think I left at about 8 o'clock in the morning thinking I'm going to get to the bank at 9, take my money out and run to the convention. I don't think I got to the convention center until 11 or 11:30 because I was just so gridlocked in downtown Chicago. Finally did find the bank. I had to pay like $30 to park. I couldn't get out of the parking garage. It was just a nightmare. I'm going to try to think of something different next year. I don't know if I'm going to pick a bit different bank or if maybe I'm just going to bring the money with me. I haven't decided, but think about that if you're driving. Obviously, flying, it doesn't matter. You're going to bring your money with you, but I'm going to have a different plan for that next year. And the last thing I'm going to say is don't be afraid to walk away from a bad deal, because I would say a good 75% of the dealers had outrageous stickers. Not just 10 or 20% over comps, which I would have expected and feel fine about because they want to give themselves a little room to negotiate. I have no problem with that, but there's a lot of dealers there that were way over sticker, and not just on the liquid cards, on obscure cards that they were, 2x just because it's the National. Or as one dealer said, hey, that cost me 10 grand just to be here. Okay, it cost you 10 grand just to be here, dealer. I don't want to hear that, okay? It cost me 5 grand to be there. So, I mean, what are we talking about? You get the privilege of setting up at the National and selling cards for cash for 5 days. So you're saving 28% for 5 days, and you're covering your costs. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. So don't tell me your stickers are based on your cost to be there. I get it. All businesses have costs. All businesses have to factor that in terms of their pricing. But I'm not going to pay over comps because it's costing you money to be there. Just not. Because not every dealer does that. But there are a lot of dealers that had that attitude. Walk away. With 1,000 dealers, the beauty of the National is you have 1,000 dealers. And there were dealers, I would say at least 25%, that were way more reasonable on their pricing and willing you to make deals with you, fair deals with you, where they didn't feel like they had to win every transaction. So look around, don't be afraid to walk away. And that's what I would tell you. It's a long convention. You got plenty of options. If you approach it systematically and slowly and know what you want and know the ones that you really want, you can find those cards and find those dealers that'll be reasonable with you. Now, every once in a while, you're going to walk up to a card and you're not going to want to walk away. And if it's fairly stickered, that's fine. No problem with that. I did that a couple of times. But don't be afraid to walk away from the dealers that are really going to that are obviously trying to squeeze every nickel out of a transaction for a card that's easy to get, and you can find at some other table for a better price. So that about wraps it up for my video on the 2026 National Chicago. Can't wait till next year. I think this is going to be something I'm going to do every year. Please like and subscribe to my channel below. If you have comments, I would love to hear what your experiences were or questions that you have about it. Try to respond if I can. Judd 99 Sports Cards, and I'm out.